Today we have a portable solar generator from Bowery. Let's open it up. We have a accessory pack. Let's see what we got in here. Car charger cord. We've got the charging AC charging brick. It says 24 volt at 5 amps, 120 watts. We got a bunch of barrel jack tips. And I guess these are to adapt to different devices. That's pretty neat. I haven't seen a solar generator come with these. So this is probably the cable that goes in to the solar generator, maybe the 12 volt output or something. And then we've got an owner's manual. We'll check that out later. And here's the actual solar generator itself. Kind of like a briefcase design. We've got USB Type-C, USB 1, USB 2. We got inputs, outputs. We got our AC receptacle, and then our 12 volt cigarette lighter style jack. On this side we've got, looks like a kind of like a kickstand or something, because I think this side is a flip out solar panel. Yep, there it is. That's pretty neat. So it has a built-in solar panel right into the unit. I think this is a 30 watt solar panel. And on the back side we have a fan and just some warning label. That's it. All right, so let's push this button that says display. So we get a little battery meter. So it says 60%. And then I'm assuming this is going to turn on the AC inverter. There it is. So it says 110 volts. And I heard the fan spin up briefly. And then this should turn on the DC side, I guess. Yeah, it says DC out. All right, so really simple controls, nothing too fancy. I'm curious about the input. I'm guessing that's where we'll be able to power it or charge it off of the power brick and the car charger. So I'm wondering if you can plug in an extra solar panel. We'll look at the manual here in a minute. First, before we do any of that stuff, I'm itching just to take it out into the sun and use this built-in solar panel. So let's do that. All right, it's nice and bright out here. Let's flip out the kickstand, lean it back. I wonder if it just, okay, the inverter's still on. Okay, so everything's off. So I wonder if it just comes on automatically when we unfold this panel. Let's try it. All right, the panel is deployed. Oh yeah, it does. It's showing it's charging at 16 watts. So I mean, that'll eventually charge it. It's gonna take some time. Yeah, I feel like you really wouldn't want to always just rely on this thing to charge it. This seems like really just kind of a convenience factor if you don't want to have to break out another solar panel. I mean, this will do it, but it's obviously going to take some time. I think this is a 600 watt unit, so I think it has a 600 watt hour battery and a 600 watt inverter. All right, well, let's go run and take a look at the manual and see what it says as far as solar input. Okay, so the DC input port, you can connect included charging cable, car charging cable, or external solar panel charging. All right, so let's do that. You can take 12 to 30 volt on that input. Let's try this folding panel. And I don't actually have the correct connector on it. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to rig up a connector because the input of the solar power station is this kind of barrel jack. And the connectors I've got out of that solar panel, that portable solar panel, is this large kind of barrel jack, an XT60 and a Anderson. So I'm gonna have to come up with some kind of solution. All right, so my temporary solution right now is to use these alligator clips that I got clipped onto the XT90 of the solar panel. And then we're gonna clip that onto the cigarette lighter jack plug. It'll work, trust me. All right, it says we're doing 14 watts from the internal solar panel. So when I connect this, let's see what we get. All right, it says, I think it says 70. I don't know if you can see this, but I can barely see it, but I think it says 70 watts. That's not too terrible. So this is a 100 watt panel, and this is the 30 watt built-in. So we were getting only 14 watts from that thing. So let's close this and I'll see. Yeah, I think it says 56 watts. And then opening this up, we get to 69, we get to 69, about 69, 70 watts. All right, so that's pretty neat. So you can definitely add external charging to this. All right, so let's do the math on this thing. We were getting about 15 watts in some really good sunshine. There's no clouds. If we got a 600 watt hour battery, let's take 600 divided by 15. It's going to take 40 hours to fully charge this unit with this built-in solar panel. So let's take 40 divided by 12. It's going to take you 3.3 days. So it's going to take over 3 days for you to charge this unit with this built-in solar panel. So keep that in mind. You probably don't want this to be your only method of charging. I kind of would see this as an emergency method. You know, if you don't have any power anywhere else and this is all you've got, the zombie apocalypse is here and you just threw this in the trunk of your car, that's what this is for. It'll eventually charge it up. Let's try charging it with the included power adapter. Okay, so it's saying 107 watts. The unit specs 120 at 5 amps, but I think this input is limited to 4.5 amps. I think that's what the manual said. Yeah, it says 4.5 amps right here, and then 4.5 amps. So it's a 4.5 amp limit, regardless of what you plug in here. So yeah, I think you could just pretty much factor in, you're limited to around 100 watts. So if you're maxing this thing out at this 107, 108 watts at a 600 amp hour battery, it's going to take 6 hours to fully charge. Now this is always going to be everybody's question, because I get this every time I review a power station or solar generator. And that question is, can you use the AC output while you're charging? So let's turn the AC output on. So it definitely is on and we are still charging. So let me hook something up here. I'm gonna hook up this fan. Yeah, it's coming on. And we are still charging. So yes, you can power this unit, you can charge this unit and use the power at the same time. Now we need to figure out how much power we can actually pull from this AC side. Let's try some other things. Let's see if we can run this induction cooktop. All right, so I got it set to like the lowest setting, which is 1, and it seems to be working. Let's try it on 2, and 2 puts us at about 575 watts, and it's doing it so far. Now it won't run at anything higher than that. If I go higher than that, so if I go to 3, it's gonna go way over, yeah, 700, 800, and it actually shut down. So we'll keep it at 2. All right, yeah, so at 2, we're at 575 watts. That should be okay. Let's see if we're getting warm here. Oh yeah, look at that, 238, 255, 240. Yeah, so we're at getting close to cooking temps right there. So let's try to find something to cook. How about a strip of bacon? Look who's here. All right, here we go. Let's see. Oh yeah, sizzle time. Now I saw this on YouTube that if you pour a little bit of water in your pan when you're cooking bacon, it actually works better because it conducts the heat all onto the bacon, and then it starts to render that fat down, and then it'll fry up better. So let's try it. Yep, still frying up. It's going to take a little bit more time because we are only at 2, but it'll do it. Now, the thing I'm noticing about this, even though that we are basically maxed out at 600 watts, this thing's quiet. There is a fan on, but it's not loud at all. All right, so our bacon is done, and the unit actually just shut itself down. So it may have been pushing too close to that 600 watts for too long. I think we were running for about 7 or 8 minutes. I think I saw at some point it was going slightly over 600 watts. So that may have been the thing too. So it looks like you can run it at 600 or slightly over 600, maybe for about 8 minutes. But again, it comes back on, and we did finish cooking our bacon. And if you use a piece of cast iron like this, it has a lot of residual heat just setting in it. So it would just go ahead and cook your stuff anyway. Okay, so it is cooked. Is it crispy? It's right on the verge of being crispy. It's not quite. There's not really much crunch there. I just blew this off so he can have a little piece. I think he approves. Yeah, I mean, it works. If I wanted it to be crispy, I could probably leave it on the #1 setting and just let it set in the pan for a long time. All right, so we know this thing can make bacon. I was thinking about it after I finished making the bacon, and I mentioned that it shut off right at the end of cooking. And I think what it actually probably was, I think the battery was drained all the way down. And of course we did have the power adapter hooked up, but that's only 100 watts. So I feel like it probably didn't shut down because the inverter was overloaded. I think it was probably the battery, because I noticed that after I did that, I clicked on the display and it was like at 0. All right, so I think there's one last thing to check, and that is to see if the USB ports work. So let's try this USB 3.0 looking port. And I think we have to have the DC turned on. There it is. So it says we're fast charging. And let's try the USB-C. And it says we're fast charging there as well. And it's showing 11 watts here. So what is this USB? Is this like a regular USB? It's white. Is that like a non-fast charging port? Yeah. No, it's fast charging as well. So I think those are all the same. I don't know why one's blue and one's white. But yeah, so they all three will fast charge. All right, so my final thoughts on this unit. I think it's pretty neat. I do like the briefcase form factor. I think it makes it easier to tote around for one thing, and it also probably makes it easier to pack into a vehicle. Whereas the other ones that are, they're bulky and square, it's going to take up more room. As far as the solar panel built in, I think it's useful, but it's almost a little bit gimmicky because it's just not very much power that it produces. I mean, it will do the job. It will charge your power station in a pinch, but don't expect too much out of that. It's going to take, like I said, I think it's going to take probably 3+ days to fully charge this unit if it was fully depleted. So yeah, probably if you really want this to be a solar power station, you might want to consider getting an external solar panel as well. All right guys, so I think that's going to be it for the video. Leave your comments, hit that like button, and subscribe if you have not already. And I'll catch you on the next one.